There is a slight problem with the new Judas Priest album Invincible Shield, which comes out this Friday, and I kind of want to make you aware of it before you go to listen to this record. By the way, guys, just a little note here, this video won't have, pretty much any editing. It'll be just very, very simple, just me sharing my thoughts, absolutely unscripted, so I hope you guys are okay with it, because I don't think that I've released many of such videos on this show ever.
It's just outrageous.
Judas Priest released Invincible Shield almost exactly 6 years after the release of their previous studio album, Firepower, which, let's be honest here, was accepted extremely well. And even by those people who honestly thought that Judas Priest couldn't really do that anymore. And even by those who truly believed that the last worthy or true Judas Priest record had the words pain and killer in its title. And yet Judas Priest did it, and since then Firepower claimed its spot in the top lists of the favorite albums for many Judas Priest fans, even those who follow this band for many, many years.
Yes, that's true.
But since then, a lot has changed. First we had COVID, which has pretty much put the music business on hold for a couple of years, and after that break, gazillion bands started releasing new music, resulting in such an abundance of new material that so many fans felt overwhelmed by it. Since then, Judas Priest finally were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which, let's be honest here, we metalheads might not really care about it, because it doesn't really matter for us, right? We loved Judas Priest before that, and we love Judas Priest after it equally as much as we did 3 years ago. But the truth is that it has given Judas Priest quite a lot of exposure, and especially in the mainstream media, which doesn't usually talk about heavy metal or the new records put out by some of those legendary bands. Since the release of Firepower, KK Downing has finally returned to the world of heavy metal, started a new band called KK's Priest, and already released not one, but 2 new records.
Nice.
Both of which were received extremely well by the fans of this classic heavy metal and by most of the Judas Priest / KK Downing fans, and I have to be honest with you, and I think it's no secret for anybody who watches this show, that I absolutely love it. I love the fact that KK Downing is back in the world of metal. I believe he has so much left to say, and it is absolutely incredible that we now have him back with his new band KK's Priest. And for the record, I never really understood the fans who had to side either with one band or another, creating this unnecessary pressure in the fan base. I cannot just enjoy both of those bands. But most importantly, by the time Judas Priest were finally ready to release Invincible Shield, they decided to announce the upcoming record all the way back in October of 2023, thus making it possibly the longest promo cycle for a new record among all of the classic heavy metal bands. Metallica announced 72 seasons like 4 months in advance, and that was extremely long already, and even then Judas Priest's promo cycle for Invincible Shield was still longer than that of 72 seasons. And yet, thanks to pretty well planned out marketing strategy, they were able to not lose the fans' attention and to not decrease, but quite the opposite, only continue increasing the fans' anticipation of their 19th studio record during that entire long period. And so today, when we're on the verge of the release, when so many of the reviewers have given it a 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 scores, there's just so much tension and so much hype around that release that for some of the fans, and unfortunately we've seen that in history before, it might actually have a reverse effect. Because psychologically, for some of us, after such an enormous hype, your mind starts expecting from the album something you don't even personally know what. And no matter how good of a record a band puts out in the end, some of us might still get disappointed, because that music, no matter how incredible it was, did not really match the fantasies you had in your head. And that's why I actually wrote out my review of Invincible Shield before I heard any comments about it. No, seriously, I heard it first like around a month ago or something like that, and right away I just put down some notes on paper, and when I finally sat down to record the full review, I made sure to try to not change pretty much anything. And a good thing that all of the reviews I've seen after that did not really change my personal perception of Invincible Shield at all.
Nice.
And by the way, guys, in our recent community post poll, most of you voted for this review to be out on Friday, after you all have heard this record, so you can truly enjoy it. And since it would be really, really bad for the channel if I would release the review now, but most of you wouldn't watch it until 2 days later, I decided to completely trust your opinion, and the full review of this record will be, of course, out on Friday. But at the same time, for those who would like to see it a little bit earlier and to see an unedited version of it, you know, almost without any of those memes and stuff like that, and with a little bit of a forward and just my thoughts, my pure thoughts, it will actually be up on my Patreon page today. And you know, as a thank you to all my patrons, because guys, this means the world to me. Thank you so much for doing it. But the bottom line here is that when you finally get a chance to listen to the entire album on Friday, I would really encourage you to listen to it with an open mind and try to not hold on to any anticipations you might have, any of the reviews you've read before, and not even think too much about the singles which the band has released prior to Invincible Shield, because, you know, I said that before, they do not really represent this record. I don't think that any one song can really truly represent Invincible Shield, because this, in fact, is one of the most diverse records this band has put out, and I don't know, in forever. So on Friday, try to make up your own opinion, and then hopefully you guys will be checking out my review of this record, and we can finally compare our thoughts, because the truth is, I've been dying to share my opinion on it with you for so long already, and I simply cannot wait to share it with you and have a meaningful conversation about this record. But for now, if you would like to check out my unedited version of the review, the link will be in the description and the comments section below, and I'm really excited to hear what you guys all think about it on Friday. Will prevail. Slava Ukraini!